Hello and welcome to your geography class. Welcome to the new topic as we are going to start a new chapter. Our chapter for the day is chapter number 3, that is agriculture. Again, we are discussing different types of resources. We have discussed land, we have discussed water. Now we are discussing agriculture as a resource, but not only agriculture is a resource, it is a type of an economic activity as well. But what kind of economic activity? Because there are three types of major economic activities. If I have to name it, so there are primary activities, secondary activities, and tertiary activities. Three economic activities. So agriculture comes in the part of primary activity. So in this entire chapter, we are going to discuss about the economic activities. We will discuss about agriculture, farm system, types of farming. Farming is the synonym word for the agriculture. Agriculture, farming, cultivation. So these all three are the synonyms to each other. You can replace any of them. Major crops, agriculture development. So these are the few major topics that we are going to discuss in the entire chapter. But in today's class, we are going to cover up these three. So we will discuss about all the three types of economic activities along with the discussion of the concept. We have to do it because this is the main topic of our chapter, that is agriculture. So we will discuss the concept of agriculture, meaning of the word agriculture. Then finally we will sum up the chapter with the discussion of the farm system. What kind of system is involved within the farming pattern or the agriculture pattern. So let's start our today's class with the concept discussion of agriculture. As I have already told you, agriculture comes in the part of economic activity, that too primary one. So let's discuss the define of economic activities at first. So the transformation of raw materials into the usable goods or the finished products, that all comprises these three types of economic activity. So let me read out this answer for once. Transformation of raw materials into finished products involves three types of economic activities. First, primary, that gives the raw material to the secondary activity. Within the secondary activity, manufacturing is done for the finished product, and then the finished product is handed over to the tertiary sector, where within the tertiary activities, goods and services are provided. So these three are the basic economic activities through which people earn. That is how it becomes economic activity. If the people are not earning through these activities, then they are not to be considered as economic activities. They will be considered as non-economic activities. Remember, from the first chapter, something is coming back to your mind. We have discussed that there are two types of activities: economic, from which we can earn, and non-economic, that gives us the satisfaction of our feelings. Of course, we do satisfy our feelings. Various types of feelings are there. Feeling of happiness when we are getting bored. We do randomly go for the picnic spots or something like that, that give pleasure to us, or we feel relaxed with them. So that kind of non-economic activities. Now over here, within these three types of economic activities, people are earning. For example, agriculture. Let's take the agriculture as the example. How so? In the primary activity, with the agriculture or through agriculture, crops are grown. Now those grown crops, or out of those grown crops, some of the things, likewise cotton. Cotton can be given in the secondary sector, and from the cotton within the secondary sector, with the manufacturing process, shirts or clothes can be prepared, and those clothes will be given to the tertiary sector. Over there, they will be sold out in the market. So everyone is earning because the raw products are being sold to the secondary. From the secondary, products are sold to the tertiary, and finally tertiary is earning back. Now moving ahead with the primary activity at first. So we will discuss an overview part of three types of the activity, but laying more emphasis onto the primary activities. So primary activities include connected. So it includes activities that are connected with the extraction and production of natural resources. Extraction, we are extracting raw materials from the agriculture or from various types of primary activities. So for example, we do have agriculture, fishing, gathering, we do have mining as well. And these are the basic one. So from the fishing, we are extracting fishes for the food purpose. From agriculture, we are obtaining raw materials. For example, cotton we have already discussed. Then from gathering, we are extracting vegetables along with the production of, so within the agriculture, we are producing the crops. So extraction of the raw materials. Dairy farming also comes in that. Why I have just given this term dairy farming? Because we are talking about the term extraction. So we are extracting dairy products from the milk rearing animals. By they are the cows, buffaloes, goats, sheep. We do extract various kind of things from them. From the milk, we are obtaining butter. We are obtaining buttermilk. Then we are also extracting wool. So there are various other features that we are extracting from the animals. And production, we are talking about the production of the crops. So primary activities includes the connected activities with extraction and production of the natural resources. Example, agriculture, fishing, gathering, mining, dairy farming also. Next activity is the secondary activity, where manufacturing is done with the help of the raw materials that is extracted or that is obtained from the primary activities. So secondary activities are concerned with the processing of the natural resources, processing within the manufacturing process. For example, manufacturing of steel, baking of bread, manufacturing of steel with the help of the raw material in the terms of minerals, raw form of minerals, baking of bread with the help of wheat, weaving of cloth with the help of wool. So we are extracting these three from the different fields. This is being extracted from the mining part, this is extracted from the agriculture part as a primary activity, and this we do extract not the clothes or bread or steel I'm talking about. I'm talking about the raw material which is utilized for the manufacturing of these products. So weaving of cloth, within that cloth can be the context from the agriculture. It means we might have obtained the raw material from agriculture part, or we might have obtained the raw material in the form of wool from the animals also. So this is all about the secondary activities. Finally, talking about the tertiary activities. So tertiary activities provide support to the primary and secondary sectors. How so? Because primary sector provides the raw material to the secondary, and secondary is providing the finished goods for the selling part to the tertiary activities. But how tertiary is supporting? Because when a ready to use product is sold out in the market, so who is earning on that part? On that part, the people involved in the tertiary sectors or tertiary activities are earning. But from where they are obtaining the ready to sale or ready to use goods for the selling part? They are obtaining it from the secondary activities. So isn't it providing base for the secondary activity? How so? Because in the secondary activity, if the manufacturing of anything is going on, until unless its demand is not there in the tertiary sector, why they are going to manufacture that thing? So it means demands depends on the tertiary sector or tertiary activities. For example, according to the seasons, the demand of particular kind of clothes do occur. So who is fulfilling that demand? Secondary sector, but on the basis of the demand by the tertiary sector only. So this is the dependency of secondary sector on tertiary sector. Now how it is supporting primary sector? Because whatever demand is there from the secondary sector can't fulfill on its own. It needs the help, it needs the support from the primary also. So directly, indirectly, tertiary is promoting, supporting primary activities and secondary activities. And within the tertiary activities, I have already told you that goods and services are provided. So transport as a service, trade as a service, banking, insurance, advertising, teaching as a service is also being provided. So we are not selling these things, or I'm not selling my teachings. The thing is that if we provide our services, including mine services, so we are getting the payment in return. So it's not the selling of all these factors, it's just the getting payment in return. So that is all about the three types of activities. Moving further with a going on topic, now let's put an emphasis onto the topic agriculture itself, because this is our chapter also. So let's read out. Agriculture is a primary activity that you might have come to know by now. It includes growing crops, fruits and vegetables, flowers also, because there are certain types of cropping season, and Among them, there is a particular cropping season within which vegetables and flowers are also grown. Rearing of livestock, I've told you, within which animals are also being taken care of in the terms of dairy farming, obtaining the raw material or the extraction of raw material in the form of milk. You're getting it right. So, in the term agriculture, particularly, we do add two certain kind of activities in which one is the cultivation of the crops, fruits, vegetables, and flowers, and on the other hand, within the agriculture, the farmers do rear the livestock. They do keep the animals domesticated with them. They do take care of them. They do extract milk products or whatsoever products can be extracted from those particular animals. In the world, 50% of persons are engaged in agriculture. Not from now, since centuries, since the beginning also you can state. Because animals need food to eat, food to consume, because that is the base of their survival. It's not the only base, but yeah, of course, it is a prominent base. If you're not going to eat, how we are going to survive? So, of course, agriculture was discovered. It was not done within an instance. Ki, okay, I want to do the agriculture, let's start it. First, man or human had learned the process of agriculture. How? With the help of the nature itself. Again, there is a short story behind that, but we are not going to discuss that story, that how humans learn to cultivate or how humans learn to do the agriculture. Our purpose over here is to learn the concept of agriculture. So, agriculture basically involves two basic activities: growing, cultivation of certain kind of growths of the plants, and rearing the livestock. And all over the world, majority of half of the population is involved in the agricultural activities. Two-thirds of the India's population is still dependent on agriculture. It means they are involved in agriculture. Right now, if I have to state, India is leading in the terms of population. We are leading the world, although we should not be there, but yet we are standing over there. Or that is something else, that what should be taken care of with the immediate effects. Here now we are talking about agriculture. So to fulfill the demand of the growing population with the speed we are growing, it is quite impossible that we are going to take care of the demand fulfillment properly or not so. So all that wasn't a joke. It was a serious fact that I have just discussed with you, and it is a serious fact although. So getting back to the track, two-thirds of the India's population is also involved in agriculture. Then arable land is another term related to agricultural land itself, because arable land is a type of land or is a land on which agriculture can be done or crops can be cultivated or plants can be grown, whatever you consider. I always give variety of the statements for you, just to pick any perfect or suitable term for you or the statement for you and just add up in the answer. So reading over here, the land on which the crops are grown, that is known as arable land. So particularly the fertile land to be considered as well. Then agriculture thrives. Thrives means agriculture is practiced in the regions with some basic features. So they are the soil, topography and climate. It means agriculture depends on basically three features. Soil. Fertility of the soil is the major factor that affects the agriculture prominently. Then going ahead with the topography, that is the structure of the region where the agriculture is in practice or can be practiced. It means we can consider two basic examples. Again, going with the simple one, mountains and plains. Within the mountain, agriculture can be easily done, or within the plains, agriculture can be easily done. Of course, in the plains, because they are having a flat surface, and mountains are of rugged topography, they do have slopes. So there are various factors that affects the total crop production or the crop production in the mountains and in the plains. So the most suitable landscape over all over the world actually are the plains. So topography does affects the agriculture part or agriculture practice in any part of the world. Lastly, talking about the climate, again a prominent feature, because climate comprises two basic factors. What are those? Yeah, you should remember them. I have almost taught in, I think, in every chapter, at least for once or twice. So climate comprises two basic factor or features, the way you want to pick the term. The term you want to pick, entirely your choice. So what are those factors? Temperature and rainfall. More the temperature, more will be the rainfall, and of course, temperature is required by the crops itself or by even a single plant as well. How so and why so? Because of the photosynthesis process, so sun is required, temperature is required, and rainfall is required in the terms of getting water, fresh water. So these are the basic features that are required by any region in a suitable count or suitable uh, quantity amount for the practice of the agriculture. And this is the world map. Over here you can see the world distribution of arable land. It means where the agriculture can be done. So all over the map, just look for this shaded green region. I'm not talking about this yellow part, because this yellow part is not the land that can be cultivated, at least with the easy efforts. So we have to do various kind of concerns related to that, and moreover these lands can be the desert. Over here is the desert, over here is the plateau region. So likewise there are various types of land shapes. So on this map you have to focus onto this green part. Now take out an idea which continent is more cultivated and which part of the continent is more cultivated. Talking about this North America, its eastern part is more cultivated. Southern America is least cultivated, but still this eastern part again. Likewise, majority of the Europe, India, in the majority you can see. So likewise you can take out an idea that why we have discussed that 50% of the world population is involved in agriculture, and 2/3 of India's population is also involved in agriculture, while looking at these green shaded regions. Moving ahead, agriculture. So always the term have their significant concerns, significant meanings. So what is the meaning of the term agriculture? Let's find out. So the word agriculture is derived from the Latin word. Majority of the terms that we use in various subjects or in general English, they are not originally from the English language. Their root is from other language of the world, and majority of the words are extracted from either Greek or Latin language. So agriculture is the word derived from Latin language, where ager word means agri and culture. This is the division of the word agriculture. Culture means of course a system where the crops are grown. So agri means soil, soil where the crops are grown, where the agriculture can be done, and culture is the cultivation part over here. So they are quite opposite to the meaning as per we discuss in the general English. So cultivation over here is the word culture, and soil over here is the word ager or agri. Ager is the original word from the Latin language. Moving ahead, there are various types of agriculture to be done, as in the farming. So agriculture and farming are synonym, as I've already told you, but this term cannot be used for any of them because they are done for the various concerns. How so? Let's find out. So agriculture is the science and art of cultivation on the soil, raising crops and rearing livestock. Sericulture, commercial rearing of silkworms. So from the sericulture, or we can simply say, one word question can also come, that in which type of farming silk is extracted, or the silk extraction is done in which type of agriculture or farming, that is sericulture. Then fishes are breeded in which type of agriculture, which type of farming. Viticulture is done for what kind of part, or the cultivation of grapes is also known as viticulture. Horticulture, growing vegetables or growing vegetables and flowers, is also known as horticulture. So the language can be manipulated, but one word question can come from this part or this slide itself. So let's read out. So agriculture we have already discussed, within which the science and art of cultivation on the soil along with rearing of the livestock comes. Sericulture is a commercially, it means the silk is extracting for the commercial part, for the selling purpose entirely. So commercial rearing of silkworms, it may supplement, add up the income of the farmer. So along with the side of doing agriculture, we can also follow the sericulture part. We can also do the pisciculture. As what is pisciculture? Breeding of fishes in specially constructed tanks or specially constructed ponds. Not to be referred as pond, because ponds do naturally occur as well, but tanks don't. So tank word is used. What is viticulture? In this, cultivation of grapes is done, and from grapes, various types of, you might have heard about the kishmish term, dry fruit. Yes, so from grapes, various types of other things are manufactured. Within the horticulture, it is particularly the growing of or the cultivation of vegetables, flowers, fruits for commercial purposes. Of course, not for the one's own consumption, because horticulture is a type of farming. It is done on a good scale. I won't say the large scale, but yeah, on good scale. Now coming up to the third topic of our today's class, farm system. What is the farm system? Basically, how the agriculture is done. That is entire knowledge about the farm system, in which input is given, the processing of thing is done, and finally we have the output. Similar or almost similar like the three of the activities we do have for the economic concern: primary, secondary and tertiary. Within the primary, input is there, and that input is given in the processing, that is manufacturing, secondary part. And finally output is forwarded, or output is again given in the tertiary part for the selling part, for the final earning part. So just correlate the things will become more easier for you to understand. So let's go on with this. Agriculture or farming functions as a system, because within a system things goes in a particular order. If the order will be interrupted, the process output will not be up to the mark or up to the expectations for which we are doing the entire process of farm system. So let's discuss the farm system, in which inputs are required, processing is required, and finally we obtain the output. So as an input, these are few things: machinery, modern machinery, tractor can come, harvester, threshers, seed sowers, plowing or plows can come. Then seeds can be organic, seeds can be HYV, artificially developed. Chemicals, in the terms of chemicals, what can be the input? Fertilizers, pesticides, etc., etc. So these are the basic that I have given for the input part. Within the processing, plowing is done on the soil, then sowing of the seeds is done, spray is done, spraying is done for the chemicals. So over here, these three terms are straightforwardly connecting with these. Plowing is done with the help of the tractors, sowing of the seeds, then spraying the fertilizers and pesticides. So inputs are being processed in the processing part of the farm system, and finally we obtain the crop or yield as in the output of the entire farm system. Let's discuss these input, process and outputs in more detail or more information. So these are some images of more important inputs. As I've told you, the plower machine, the labor is also helping in the farming part, fertilizers and seeds. Seeds can be organic, naturally occurring, seeds can be artificially prepared as well, or developed will be the suitable word. Now talking about two types of inputs, physical input and human inputs. Physical inputs, we are talking about the things that are naturally occurring, but they are used as the input in the agriculture. So climatic condition, sunshine, temperature and rainfall, along with topography. Remember the first introduction for the agriculture we have discussed. So agriculture depends onto these basic features: climatic conditions, rainfall, temperature, soil is also there, and topography is also there. These are the physical inputs required for the agriculture part. Now talking about the human inputs, of course, human is playing a vital role in the human input, because he is playing himself as an input part. Along with that, storage. Surplus crop can be stored for the future part, or it can't be sold at the very moment because of not having the good prices in the market. So we can store it for a while and we can sell it afterwards. Then human do play the role of a labor itself. Human use machineries, human use chemicals. So this is entirely about the input part. So two types of inputs are required in the terms of physically naturally occurring inputs and in the terms of human inputs, where humans are putting their efforts, because human is the one who are using all these features. Moving ahead, some of the operations within the farm system we are discussing. So at first the soil is being prepared with the help of the machinery. So plowing is done, then the seeds are sown, then after sowing the seeds, irrigation, water is required for the growth of the plant or growth of the crop. So irrigation is provided. It can be provided with the various things, likewise rivers, canals, artificial rivers, sprinkle system, drip irrigation system. It depends on the topography of the region. If the water is available in abundance, or if the water is available in the short quantity or small amount or small quantity. So in the small availability region, you can use sprinklers and drip irrigation, and where the rivers are available, so water is available in abundance, so that is how irrigation can be done. Finally, weeding the unwanted plants within the crop are to be extracted with the help of some of the agricultural tools. And finally, harvesting is done with the help of machinery. So this is the entire process of the input, processing and output part. Moving ahead, some outputs from the system. Crops can be extracted, of course we are producing them. Wool can be extracted, certainly. Then dairy products, I have given you the example, and poultry products. This I have left, but yes, it is also the part. Likewise, various others can be that I might not have discussed. Kyunki we are not discussing the thorough or entire origin and how it flourished through the time. We are not going to discuss that part, because likewise class will be of quite a small time. So poultry, where we means the farmers, the agriculturists, they do rear the hens, they do rear the cocks, and that is how breeding is done, and they do obtain eggs, chickens for the meat purpose and all. That was all about the today's class. So what's the outcome of our today's class? We have entirely discussed or thoroughly discussed the concept of agriculture, but not in that thorough process that I have just told you a sec before. It means we have not discussed its origin and everything else, but basically we are discussing what is agriculture and how this agricultural farm system works. So outcome of the chapter, we have discussed agriculture as a system, how it works and what are its examples, or what comes in the agriculture part. What comes in an agriculture part? Rearing the livestock, doing the agriculture, growing the food crop and growing the fodder crop. Fodder crop that is consumed by the animals. So now it's the time to discuss three particular questions in the term of the revision concern. So here is the first question. Which of the following is a primary activity? That is providing raw material. So advertisement, not so. Manufacturing, secondary. Transport, tertiary. Agriculture is a primary activity. Next, what is an arable land? Where the crops can be grown. So let's find out. Land used for building factories? No. Land used for grazing animals, land used for mining. Primary. Then building factories, that can come in secondary part, but it is not related to primary. And over here we are talking about arable land. So where the crops can be grown, land used for growing crops is an arable land. Last question for the day. Which of the following is not a major output in the farm system? Dairy products, poultry products, then wool. So don't you think so? Fertilizer is an input. Thereafter only we can get a good yield, because fertilizers do increase the potential of the growth of the seed. So this is the input, or sorry, this is the output, this is the output, this is the output, this is the input part. So our answer will be this one. So that's all for today's class. I hope today's class was interesting, because agriculture part is more relevant to each and every one of us, whether you are from 8th class, whether you are the elder one, it doesn't matter. Agriculture is the concept that makes us connected with our root, our soil. So we'll continue this interesting class in the future upcoming classes, but the few one. So see you soon in the next class. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.